shooting, or did you know that he was gone at that point?
No, I didn't know neither one, if he was gone or still alive. I just, like I say, I didn't even know it was him.
Meanwhile, Lil Durk's legal troubles have taken a serious turn, and things are not looking good for him. It all started in late October when he was arrested under suspicion of ordering members of his crew, OTF, to take out rival rapper Quando Rondo. That alone was enough to make headlines, but within 2 weeks, more charges were added to his case, making his situation even worse. Now, he's facing multiple charges, including illegally carrying and firing a gun. What makes matters even more concerning is that the federal government is planning to use his own lyrics as evidence against him in court. The situation is so severe that many people are questioning if this could be the end of his career, and possibly his freedom. One of the most shocking aspects of this case is how quickly things have escalated. What first seemed like a routine legal issue has now spiraled into something much bigger, with new details emerging that could change everything. Among those affected by these developments is Tim, who was also injured in the incident. The recent murder charges against Durk have shaken him, revealing a deeper and more complicated story than most people initially realized. To fully understand how things got this bad, we have to go back to 2020, the year Chicago rapper King Von was tragically killed. His death sent shockwaves through the rap community and had a lasting impact on those closest to him. However, it also set off a dangerous chain of events that may have led to the situation Durk is in now. Federal agents have been keeping a close eye on Durk for a while, monitoring his movements and gathering evidence. The charges he's facing are extremely serious, and if convicted, he could be looking at a life sentence. Prosecutors seem determined to make an example out of him, and with new details coming to light, it's becoming harder to see a way out for him this time. As more information continues to surface, the case against Durk is growing stronger. Fans, friends, and legal experts alike are left wondering, will he be able to beat these charges, or is this the moment that finally catches up to him? Only time will tell, but one thing is clear. This is a turning point in his life, and the outcome could change everything. The federal government has accused several members of Lil Durk's OTF crew of being involved in violent incidents, claiming they played a role in a planned attack on rapper Quando Rondo. According to court records, OTF members, including Callan London, Grant Dina, Dantrell Wilson, and Keith Jones, allegedly used connected credit cards to track Rondo's location. Authorities believe that 2 men, David Brian Lindsay and Asa Houston, were charged in Los Angeles for conspiring to kill Rondo, and they suspect this was a calculated act of revenge for the murder of King Von. Investigators uncovered multiple messages, phone calls, and other evidence suggesting that the attack was not random but a well-coordinated effort. The suspects were arrested after law enforcement linked them to flights and rental cars tied to the crime scene. Now, they are facing serious federal charges, including murder for hire. Prosecutors say this crime involved not just a killing but the use of a machine gun, which significantly increases the severity of the charges against them. To fully grasp how this all unfolded, we have to go back to the night King Von lost his life. Security footage from a violent altercation outside an Atlanta nightclub shows King Von punching Quando Rondo, knocking him to the ground. As Von's team joined in the brawl, one of Rondo's associates pulled out a gun and fired multiple shots. King Von was struck in the torso and later died from his injuries at the hospital. For Lil Durk, Von's death wasn't just a personal loss, it reignited an already heated feud between his OTF crew and Rondo's camp. Law enforcement claims that an OTF insider eventually came forward with damning information, revealing that Durk had allegedly used coded language to offer money to anyone willing to take out Rondo. This aligns with court documents stating that rumors of Durk putting a bounty on Rondo's head were not just speculation but based on actual evidence gathered by authorities. With the feds piecing together the case, things are looking more dangerous for Durk and his crew. Prosecutors are building a strong argument, and if the allegations hold up in court, the consequences could be devastating. The situation is still developing, but one thing is clear. This is not just another rap beef, it's a serious legal battle that could change lives forever. Furthermore, Dear Wilson, Durk's cousin, is accused of telling other OTF members that anybody participating in the hit will get rich music possibilities. The government case against Lil Durk is becoming stronger in light of this new knowledge, and the prosecution is anticipated to use a mix of witness statements, digital evidence, and even Durk's own songs to support their claims. Rap lyrics have historically been utilized by the legal system against musicians, and in Durk's case, his words might backfire. As the case progresses, Durk's legal team will surely attempt to refute the prosecution's allegations, but with multiple OTF members already charged and evidence connecting them to the crime, the rapper's legal battle is far from over if convicted. While some fans contend that lyrics should be viewed as artistic expression rather than confessions of real-life crimes, prosecutors are likely to frame them as direct evidence of Durk's intent and involvement. May face a lengthy prison sentence that could end his career as one of the most influential voices in hip-hop. For the time being, everyone is watching the courtroom as fans, critics, and the industry as a whole wait to see how this high-stakes case unfolds. Will Durk be able to prove his innocence, or is this really the end for him? Only time will tell. In August 2022, tensions between Quando Rondo and Lil Durk's group reached a breaking point, which prompted a well-thought-out attempt on Rondo's life in federal court. Since then, records have come to light that paint a terrifying picture of a planned murder for a hire plot that was allegedly carried out by members of Lil Durk's OTF crew, according to prosecutors. The plan began when Durk's associates learned that Quando Rondo was staying at a hotel in Los Angeles. This intelligence led to a series of calculated actions that culminated in an attempted ambush on August 18, 2022. As the feds have detailed in their emment, the operation was meticulously planned to eliminate Quando Rondo while the day began with OTF members Dear Wilson Keith Jones avoiding any clear connections to Lil Durk. In order to avoid direct connections, David Lindery and Asa Houston reportedly used money given by the Lurk himself to drive from Chicago to San Diego before landing in Los Angeles. Despite these warnings, they used a credit card connected to Durk and UTF to book flights even if Durk had allegedly told them not to do so, and information the feds discovered from his iCloud data. When they arrived, the OTF members connected with Con Grant, a crucial associate who had flown into Los Angeles on a private jet. The Inman disclosed the shocking new information that Durk was on that private jet with Grant. This revelation has significant ramifications because it puts Durk in close proximity to the events that were taking place. Only a few hours before the attempted murder, Grant was instrumental in carrying out the plan. He bought marine masks, arranged hotel rooms, and the OTF team allegedly started tracking Quando Rondo's movements as the day went on. Surveillance efforts led them to several locations, including a marijuana dispensary and a clothing store in West Hollywood. The group allegedly followed Rondo's cattle Escalade as he drove away. Additionally, court documents reveal that Grant provided firearms to Jones Lindsay and an unnamed third man, including one that had been legally converted into a machine gun in Illinois. Traveled across Los Angeles, finally coming to a halt at a gas station next to the Beverly Center, which was a great spot for their ambush and where the operation culminated. According to prosecutors, ASA in a sudden act of violence, Houston parked a getaway car behind the gas station, and Jones Lindsay and the third unnamed person got out with guns. They then opened fire, shooting a barrage of bullets at Rondo, but in a tragic turn of events, Rondo was able to escape unharmed. The suspects swiftly left the scene after the mission was compromised, regrouping at an In-N-Out Burger to discuss their next course of action. Shortly after the group returned to Chicago from San Diego in an attempt to avoid detection, Grant allegedly started arranging the payment for their failed hit. Despite their deliberate efforts, authorities were able to piece together the sequence of events and uncover a web. His cousin LOLPAB was shot dead while standing outside the Escalade. The fact that Grant, who organized lodging, supplied weapons, and managed the payout, was on a private jet with Lil Durk just hours before the attack strengthens the case against the rapper. The feds have now added new charges to Durk's indictment, including conspiracy using interstate facilities to commit murder for hire and possessing a firearm in furtherance of a violent crime. These records, along with travel logs and digital communications that connected the entire operation back to Durk's camp, are extremely severe accusations that carry a life sentence if found guilty. The prosecution is anticipated to use Durk's lyrics as proof in court, claiming that his songs were coded signals indicating planned acts of violence against his competitors. The hip-hop community has been rocked by this case because it calls into question how deeply ingrained rappers' ties to street activities are. If the evidence is proven in court, Durk may be facing the end of his career and possibly his freedom, as federal authorities tighten their. Regardless of the conclusion, fans and critics alike are left wondering whether Durk was really the mastermind behind this murderous scheme or if he is being unjustly punished because of his prior ties. It will take nothing short of a miracle for Durk to escape this one uninjured as the court struggle continues. There is little doubt that this case has permanently altered the hip-hop environment, and its effects will last for years to come. When word leaked out that Chicago rapper Lil Durk had been jailed, speculations rapidly circulated that the FBI had been monitoring Durk's movements for months, and when he made a string of suspicious travel arrangements, they knew it was time to strike. According to the assistant director in charge of the FBI's Los Angeles field office, Durk's capture was evidence of the Bureau's wide reach and coordination with the LAPD. At first, Many people dismissed these claims as sensationalized tabloid gossip, but the truth was far more shocking. Organization, but had closely monitored his every action and were aware that on October 24th, Durk had made 2 one-way reservations, one to Dubai and one to Switzerland. These reservations raised immediate concerns about possible legal repercussions, even though he never boarded the flights. When officials discovered an even more ambitious scheme, the situation worsened. Prior to the indictment, Durk had made arrangements for a private plane to go from Miami to Italy, indicating that he was serious about disappearing. Came crashing down on him on the evening of October 24th, just 1 hour before his scheduled private flight. FBI agents moved in to arrest Durk at a Miami area airport. The swift action ensured he wouldn't elude justice. He was then taken to Broward County Jail, where a federal judge ordered him held without bond before being transferred to Los Angeles for arraignment. The timing of his escape attempt coincided with the federal government preparing to charge him and several of his closest associates in connection with a high-profile murder case. King Varfa's murder on November 6, 2020, outside the Monaco Hookah Lounge in Atlanta, is one of the most terrible events in contemporary hip-hop history and may be linked to this case. After a fight with Quando Rondo's entourage, King Varf was shot and died. The 26-year-old rapper was about to establish his reputation in the business, but the streets had other ideas. Von's killing wasn't an isolated incident. Rather, it was the result of long-running hostilities between opposing factions, a feud stoked by loyalty, respect, and unwritten rules. Von and his group encountered Rondo's squad outside the club that evening, and what began as a disagreement quickly became violent. Prior to the mayhem, V was seen assaulting Rondo in the CCTV tape. Timothy LOL Tim reveals that a close friend of Rondo took out a gun and started shooting. After being hit many times, Bond passed away from his wounds for Durk. Beyond just losing a good friend, Bond's passing served as a wake-up call. However, there were reports on the street that Durk had put a reward on the head of Quando Rondo. Many others wrote it off as conjecture. The FBI started assembling a web of evidence that showed a well-planned murder attempt on 5 OTF affiliates, including Dear Wilson, after Durk allegedly offered prizes to OTF members who were eager to retaliate against Rondo using coded language, according to recent court records. In the case, investigators found that Keith Jones, David Lindsay, ASA Houston, and Conrad had allegedly used Durk's money to fly from Chicago to Los Angeles. Himself by August 2022, tensions had reached a boiling point despite the operation's meticulous planning and clear attempts to avoid immediately connecting Durk to the murder. According to federal records, Lil Durk's associates discovered that Quando Rondo was lodging at a hotel in Los Angeles. This information triggered a series of events that resulted in a well-planned ambush on August 18th, during which the group, under the leadership of Con Grant, obtained opulent lodging, rental cars, and ski masks to guarantee a flawless execution. One important organizer, Grant, gave Jones. The plan culminated at a gas station near the Beverly Center where Asa Hun strategically parked his vehicle to block Rondo's escape route. Lindsay and an unidentified third man carrying firearms, including one that had been converted into a machine gun, greatly increased the level of violence throughout the day. They followed Rondo's movements throughout Los Angeles, stopping at a marijuana dispensary and a clothing store in West Hollywood. At the petrol station, his entourage made a halt. When Jones, Lindsay, and the unnamed shooter got out of their car, armed and prepared, a barrage of bullets ripped through the night in an attempt to kill Rondo, but destiny had other ideas. After the attack, the suspects were gathered at an In-N-Out Burger where they allegedly discussed their payment with Con Grant. They then returned to Chicago, thinking they had hidden their tracks, but the hit had failed, and Rondo miraculously escaped unharmed, but his cousin El Pav was shot and killed. The hip-hop community, fans, and even other artists put tremendous pressure on Lil Durk to exact revenge on his fallen friend. The Slide for Vow movement became a viral campaign calling on Durk to act, but he publicly downplayed these demands. The feds had been watching as the streets demanded retribution for King Von's death. Privately, things were different, but ultimately, treachery from inside by ODDF member Jam Jam, a trusted source, was more significant than the FBI's monitoring in bringing Durk to ruin. After Durk's release in 2022, an associate who had served a 12-year sentence for a previous shooting turned against him. Durk had given Jam $50,000 as a welcome home gift because he thought Jam was a loyal soldier, but under increasing legal pressure, Jam cooperated with federal authorities and gave them damning evidence of Durk's involvement in the plot against Rondo. This cooperation, along with Wirtap's financial records and digital forensics, gave the feds an unbeatable case. Flights were booked using OTF-affiliated credit cards. and rental automobiles connected as evidence that he understood the seriousness of the matter. Durk allegedly warned his workers not to do anything in his name in his own iCloud communications, which led straight to the conspiracy. Durk is now being charged with major federal offenses, such as conspiracy to commit murder. If found guilty, For Hire may spend the rest of his life behind bars as his defense team works to launch an offensive against him for utilizing interstate facilities to commit murder and carrying guns in support of violent crimes.
Against him seems overpowering.
Financial data and digital evidence from informants are used by the prosecution to create a picture of Danning's participation. His effort to leave the nation only makes while some admirers believe Durk would somehow defeat the case, the truth is grim. The feds seldom file charges unless they are certain they can get a conviction.
This is the narrative that he knew what was coming.
Numerous musicians have been subjected to the judicial system in the rap business, and it now seems that time will tell whether Durk can break out from the cycle of violence that has characterized his career or if this is indeed the end for one of the most well-known individuals in hip-hop.
He could be the next to join that list.
After his high-profile arrest, Durk, who was once hailed as a hometown hero for his achievements and contributions to Chicago's communities, finds his legacy eroding. Not long ago, he was given the keys to the cities of Wood and Broadview, Illinois, in recognition of his humanitarian work and close ties to. In a statement posted on the village's Facebook page, Broadview Mayor Katrina Thompson, who had personally given Durk the key to her village, swiftly revoked the honor and severed ties with his Neighborhood Heroes Foundation, emphasizing her duty to uphold the values of Broadview residents. However, as his legal issues worsen, the same leaders who once praised him are now stepping away, eager to distance themselves from the troubled rapper. High moral and ethical standards are upheld by the community, and as mayor, her top priority is to preserve the village's reputation. In contrast, Bellwood Mayor Harvey adopted a more measured approach, refusing to take away Durk's key until the legal proceedings were completed. He justified his decision by citing the U.S. presumption of innocence until proven guilty, but this stance has drawn criticism from both locals and officials who contend that honoring Durk in spite of his criminal. Many locals are frustrated by the accusations, which send the wrong message to the community. They wonder why Durk was selected for this award in the first place. Critics such as Broadview mayoral candidate Angela Patterson referred to the choice to honor him as a grave error of judgment. Others pointed out that, apart from the revoked accolades, other locals had devoted their life to improving communities without the fuss that surrounds a well-known rapper. Durk's humanitarian endeavors are also encountering. Although some have called for the return of the $50,000 he donated to Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson's campaign, Mayor Johnson defended the donation, saying that Durk has been instrumental in helping Chicago's youth. However, given the seriousness of the accusations against the rapper and the ongoing legal proceedings against him, this stance seems excessively lenient. Durk's reputation, which was once based on success and philanthropy, is now in jeopardy. Is now in danger of turning into a warning about how easily public opinion can shift in the face of scandal.